Hey everybody, Andy T here at Bird Brain 66, along with my good buddy Brian Bretsch on the other side of me here in cyber world. We are here today to discuss the 1984 Donruss baseball card set, and specifically the St. Louis Cardinal team set. There you see Joaquin Andujar right there, 20-game winner that year, and in contention for the Cy Young, but lost to Rick Sutcliffe, unfortunately. It was an upgrade for most of the early Donruss sets that started in '81, but obviously Donruss did a much better job the year before, I thought, with the '83 set. But I'll digress on that, and we will move forward on this one. One thing I do like about this set, and as Brian held up a couple of cards, always like these Diamond King cards, and there you see Bruce Sutter, 45 saves that year, so. One of our great relievers of all time. So, Brian, what are your impressions of this card set? I've obviously not one of my favorite Donruss sets, but for a lot of collectors, it is their favorite Donruss set.
A lot of good players in it. Like you mentioned earlier, I know Donruss didn't start out so hot when they came on the scene with the lighter weight cards, but definitely a heavier stock, a little bit of a cool design with this little artwork at the bottom, cards going across. There's Dane Orge, Donruss 84 on the back of it. One thing that you and I talked about before we even got started is, I don't know if you can see it, Willie Mcgee, one of our all-time favorites. I was particularly excited. I don't know if excited is the right word, but wanted to give some good props and kudos to Donruss just because they put the contract status on the back of the cards among all of the stats. And what you and I were talking about before we hit record is, back before there was the internet and all this stuff where you could go and look it up. That was that was a difficult thing to try to track down for 660 or 651 players in the set, because there's some checklists and some living legend cards in there. But I was quite impressed to see something like that back in 1984 for a company to do that. But overall, I I agree. The '83 set was a little bit. Was probably my favorite out of the '80s Donruss cards, but like you said earlier, for some reason this one's just kind of taken off in popularity. What are some of your highlights to this, or some of your favorite players from this set?
Well, I showed the Sutter Diamond King, and I showed the Willie Mcgee card. Obviously, Willie always one of my favorites, along with Silent George, also one of my favorites during that time period.
Hey, hold that one up again of Silent there really quickly. This was my favorite thing about Silent George. I know we talked about it before, but I love it. He was kind of the guy that started the whole thing, at least for the Cardinals, with the pants going all the way down to his shoes. Yep. I always appreciated that, because here you go. Here's Joaquin again with, look at where his
with the stirrups. Yep.
Yeah, you can see that. So George was the first guy, I think, to actually at one point, I think, almost touch the cleats as far down as his pants went. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool about George.
One cool card here is the Running Reds, which should be Running Redbirds or something else, not the Reds. But nevertheless, it's still a great card. You got Ozzie and Lonnie on there with Willie. And also, I'm drawing a blank. Who is that? Can't see.
Well, you got David Green.
Oh, David Green! Good grief! I'm talking. How could I forget him? He led the team in home runs that year. So
yeah, Willie and then Skates and the Wiz. So
yeah,
great stuff. But no, I also like this because I've had some fun with this. This was back, I think it was the '82 set, where we had so many guys that had the wild hair with the perms when that was all in style.
Oh
so
yeah,
you still got a couple of guys, that. Tommy Hurst got it here. I forgot to pull our good local buddy out of here, the guy from
Obergefell. Yep,
Obergefell. Look at that little and there's Tommy with his afro, his curls,
his
locks. So that always cracked me up. Great team, because this is we're in the transition after winning the '82 World Series, and
we'll go on more in the Hurst.
Oh yeah.
There, Mike Ramsey always, yeah. Great,
He
great utility guy for the Cardinals. During
played
that.
second, short, third base. He was kind of our number one guy off the bench, especially for defensive moves in a game when Whitey was moving guys and sometimes having a pitcher in the outfield for a little bit just because he knew that either Ken Daly or Neil Allen or somebody was going to come out of the bullpen and get that one out, and then he'd bring Suter in, and it was always cool.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm really surprised we don't see that anymore. And obviously everybody's so afraid of a pitcher getting injured for whatever reason. To me, it's and as we move on through this baseball season, we're going to probably see the end of the implementation of the DH in the National League and the end of pitchers hitting, which I don't like, because I do like seeing the pitchers come up, and I just it's just a different part of the game that I like, and I just thought Whitey was a genius for some of that stuff that he did do, because he come in and burn a pitcher, but he didn't burn the starter necessarily all the time. He get the guy back in on the mound or whoever happened to be at the time. And Whitey did a lot of unique things in his day. And like you said, this is kind of a transition period for the Cardinals that year. Finished third. Unfortunately, the Cubs finished first. I think their record, they won 84 games that year. And like I said, Andujar was in contention for the Cy Young that year. There were 3 20-game winners in the National League. So it's still a pretty decent season, by any standards, as long as you get a winning record in baseball, to me, it's still pretty decent. It's a long haul and long season. And speaking of 1984, you and I were both still in high school, senior year, listening to Van Halen, and great album. Just want to throw that out there, just for mention one of my favorite Van Halen albums. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And one of my all-time favorite songs that doesn't get a lot of airplay is Drop Dead Legs. So I love that song from the 84 album. So
I think, well, I know we're going to get off the topic there for a second, but I think that they had a couple of tracks on there that probably should have got more radio play, like Drop Dead Legs. And was the Top Jimmy was really good, so I think, and everybody beat up Van Halen over the synthesizer at the time, but, who cares?
Everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing it. So,
but everybody was listening. Everybody was listening to that album, and everybody loved Jump. So I don't know what everybody was complaining about. So,
yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to this. Like I said, not one of my favorite Donruss sets. I thought '83 was actually better, and probably, like you said, favorite of the '80s. And do you have anything else to close out this set?
I just, for whatever reasons, always liked John Stupor. Great pitcher. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but I always wanted to give, again, props to Donruss for the Diamond Kings. That was probably one of the things that I always looked forward to, as goofy as sometimes we talk about expressions on players' faces, like, come on, give somebody an opportunity to do something. I mean, I don't know what the heck Ken Oberkfell was doing in this particular photo. Willie McGee's got a strange look on his face. There's a few good action shots in here, but for whatever reasons, when it came to the Diamond Kings, I mean, that was always that's the one that I wanted more than anything else when I was collecting the teams.
Well, I think speaking of that, I think when you and I opened those packs up, even no matter if it was a Cardinals or not, we always were interested to see what the Perez Steel artwork looked like for each particular team, during that run. So yeah, I always loved that. Great, just artwork.
And the Cardinals definitely kept it interesting when Whitey was both the the manager and the GM, making all the moves that he wanted. He moved away a popular player in Keith Hernandez, and we got rid of Ted Simmons, another popular player. But going back to the Diamond Kings, because of what Whitey was doing, I mean, the Cardinals always had good representation of the Diamond King card. I think there's, I'm not mistaken, 24 Cardinals in the set, and again, they're ramping up for the 85 season when we're getting ready to win the National League championship, and have the hiccup against the Kansas City Royals. We won't
Yep.
get into all of that, but here's another guy that was huge for us.
I think the other thing that most collectors that do like to set like about it are all the rookies that were included in here. And for the Cardinals, the big one was obviously Andy Van Slyke. You know, we know from the Yankees was Don Mattingly, so that is the big. I think probably the big card out of there. You know, out of that particular set, because you always seems like every time you pull up anything about the '84 set, you always see Mattingly's card on there. So yeah, but it's a great looking. That particular card is a great looking card. So I'll give props to that. But anything you else you want to say to close this out? Oh, I want to do one. I want to alibi here. I want to go ahead and throw an alibi on Van Halen's 1984 for House of Pain and Girl Gone Bad. So two other deep tracks on there. Didn't get a lot of play, so get that in there.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I heard Drop Dead Legs the other day on the radio, and I almost had to pull the car over because it was
Right.
like a lone classic song that was being played on the radio, and I was like, wow, that never happened. It was probably the first time since about 1984, 85, or 86 that it's had any airtime. But
Yep.
no, I like this. I like it. It's, again, we talked about it. 83 is my favorite, but a lot of good memories because of where we were at in
Yep.
our teenage years, from the 82 to that 83, 84, that great run in 85, and obviously the great run in 87. So the only thing that I wish, we would see in this set would be a card of Whitey Herzog, the White Rat, or even a Diamond King card of the White Rat. I just wish that more sets, put manager cards in there, but that's a story for another day. But
Is that a hint? Is that a hint for anything in the future to come, Brian?
I hope so. I hope
Yes.
the new player in all of this comes along and heeds our advice. But well, again, that's another show for
Right. Yeah. Well, go ahead and wrap it up, Brian, because you always do it better than I do.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks. I wish, you can tell by our a little bit of our tone that we're not overly excited about it, but hey, we just like to have fun and talk about cards in general, and hope that you guys watch this, enjoy this. Hope you guys have the 84 set, because there are some really cool, iconic players in the set. But as we wrap up, you can find us on this channel right now, YouTube, at BirdBrain66. We're on Facebook, BirdBrain66, and we also have a Twitter handle, which is at BirdBrain66. And what's cool about that, if you follow us there, don't be surprised if you see someone like a Gary Bennett from the 2006 World Series team, or three-time World Series champ Todd Stottlemyre, Kyle McClellan. There's Rick Ankiel. There's been several Cardinal players that we've tagged in those tweets who comment, and especially when they show cards of some of their teammates from back in the day. So anyway, please consider following us. And if you got any suggestions on a set that you'd like us to review, or if you want us to do a random card, we do take requests. So on that note, hey, thanks for joining Andy and I. We have a lot of fun doing this, and hope you enjoy watching it.
All right. Thanks.